What's going on, everybody? It's Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, and you're tuned into a very special edition of the HFWB podcast series where information is the new money. And my entrepreneurs and business owners can relate to this, those profit and loss statements. We got to keep track of the income that's being generated and the revenue that's coming in and the expenses that are going out on a regular basis to keep your business operating and your entrepreneurship journey afloat. Which is why we got to show love to those accountants, y'all, because they help keep all those things in order. Which is why yours truly, Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, currently recommends Strong Elm Business Solutions. I'm telling you, are you ready to elevate your business? Check out Strong Elm Business Solutions, your partner in growth and success. They specialize in tailored strategies that drive results, y'all, whether it's enhancing your chart of accounts, optimizing workflows, or providing top-notch business advice. Man, that came in handy for me getting my overall finances in order because Strong Elm Business Solutions are dedicated to empowering small and medium-sized enterprises with the tools they need to thrive in today's competitive market. From startup budgets to payroll and bookkeeping, Strong Elm Business Solutions are here to help. I'm telling you. Visit Strong Elm Business Solutions at strongelm.com and discover why they can help you achieve your business goals. Strong Elm Business Solutions are empowering strong clients for a stronger future. Yours truly, Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, will definitely attest to that, which is why you need to visit strongelm.com and give Strong Elm Business Solutions a call at 361-944-0122. That's 361-944-0122. You won't be disappointed on that. My name is Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, and I approve this message. Y'all stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed. And until next time, peace, love, and positive vibrations. Oh man, just like that, we are back. What is going on, everybody? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned into a very special edition of the HFWB podcast series, and this is your host, Clifton Pope. And if for everyone who knows about the HFWB podcast series, it's all about information being the new money, finding that secret weapon, of course, towards success. And I think I may have found a little bit of a secret weapon here with this guest I'm about to bring on, as far as behind, helping out coaches and online education companies and multitude of clients basically establish their own success system. She has the background and the experience to definitely do that for sure. Before stepping into the consulting world, she has a master's in education. She served as a director of programming for a 7-figure coaching business, helping it grow to 8 figures within 4 years. She's the co-creator of the invisible marketing method, which is just intriguing in itself. But to kind of sum it up all in details about this particular guest I'm about to bring on, she's a strategic advisor and a coach for coaches. And she's also the host of the Built to Last podcast, where it's about honest conversations about marriage, motherhood, and business. You should definitely give that a listen as well. You won't regret it. With that being said, I would like to welcome the lovely Megan J. Huber to the HFWB podcast series. Megan, how are things going on this transitional Thursday with a whole lot of thought behind it?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Clifton. And what a beautiful voice and welcome that you have for your listeners and for your guests. Like that was just so awesome. And I got to say, I really love your voice. It's so calming and grounding and welcoming. So I'm excited for us to have a conversation and really add some awesome value and help people perhaps think in a slightly different way than they were thinking yesterday, so that they can become a better version of themselves today and tomorrow.
I appreciate that, Megan, and that's what we're definitely going to get accomplished with this particular conversation. And I'm super excited about it for sure, because ironically enough, this is going to be a conversation that's going to be built to last, kind of like how your podcast is and everything. But as we dive into your overall story, your overall background, and what got you started on the journey of wanting to, of course, become not only a strategic advisor and a coach for coaches, but just getting to know Megan the person for those who are listening to the HFWB podcast series.
Okay, so where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with Megan the person, or do you want me to start with what led to starting a business in the first place?
I would say let's start with the person and what led you to, of course, starting into the business. Let's start from scratch and work our way to where we are, if anything, Megan.
Amazing. And we'll just see where it takes us too. So just a couple of personal things. I'm in my early 40s. I'm 42. And I am married. My husband, Sean, and I have been married for 15 and a half years. We've been together for 17. And we have one daughter. She's 14 in the 8th grade. And so that's really fun. And we love animals. I should say my husband and my daughter love animals a little bit more than I do. I could do without more pets in the house, but we have a dog and we have 2 cats and we also have 2 tortoises. Okay. And maybe the tortoises gives it off of where we live. We live in Florida, and it is not uncommon for people to have tortoises. We actually have, so we have like 2 domestic tortoises, but we also have a gopher tortoise that lives in his own little burrow right by our front porch of our house.
Right.
And he can't touch those. So he gets to live there. So that's a little bit about me, just kind of surface level personal. Let's dive into how, like, what even got me into entrepreneurship. And I think so many of us, and probably a lot of the listeners here, a lot of us didn't grow up in an entrepreneurial household. Right. I certainly did not. My parents were not business owners. I grew up in the center of North Carolina in a very rural county. My dad worked for the Power and Light Company, and he climbed poles for a living. He climbed poles. He was the guy that fixed your electricity. If it went off, if there was a storm, he was out in it. So very blue collar. My mom was a career teacher, and she was also a principal. And my mom was my teacher a few times when I was in high school. So wow. Okay. I grew up in a really small town. There were about 2,000 people in my town. So this was in the 80s and 90s. And I always joke, the town looks a little different now than it did back then. But in the 80s and 90s, we had one main stoplight, a Piggly Wiggly, and a Hardee's. And that was the town. I mean, there are a couple other little things, but like that was what was happening there. Gotcha. So very, very small town. And I go off to college. I got a general business degree. It should have tipped me off when I changed my major 5 times that I really had no idea what I wanted to do after college. So I settled in a very general business degree, which, by the way, does not teach you how to run a business. An MBA, like getting an MBA, doesn't even teach you how to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't teach you how to run a business. So I graduated, had no idea what I wanted to do. I got a job as a manager in training at a Jason's Deli, and I cried every single day on my way to work and every day on my way home. And this was the summer after college. I had moved home back with my parents. And my mom said, Megan, why don't you just write a letter of resignation and go back to school and get a master's degree in teaching, because you would be such a good teacher. And that's what I did. I went immediately into a master's program, got a master's degree in teaching. I started out as a substitute teacher at the high school I graduated from, ended up getting a job as a full-time teacher that next year. Where the story gets interesting is my mom's classroom was right beside mine.
Oh, wow.
And we taught almost the same thing. We taught business classes to high school kids. And my mom was my mentor. So my first year of teaching, she really mentored me. And I became known for classroom management. I mean, look, I was a 22-year-old teaching high school kids. And a lot of people don't know this, but eventually they kick you out of high school, but they don't kick you out until you're 21. So you could potentially have a 21-year-old as a high school kid. And I did. Oh, so wow. I had kids that were 18, 19 years old, 20, 21. And I was a 22-year-old. But I became well known in the school for having very, very good classroom management skills. So that I'm sharing that because it just kind of shows you how can we use our past skills from a previous career? How can that translate into something else, another career or entrepreneurship? And so a lot of that, I learned how to lead and communicate with high school students, which, to be quite frank with everybody, if anybody listening to this is in a leadership position, you talk to adults the same way you talk to high school kids. Like the way that you lead and communicate, it's no different with adults than it is with high school age kids. It's a little different with like 5-year-olds, but 18-year-olds, no, I mean, they're an adult. So I got pregnant 5 years in. Sean and I had gotten married, got pregnant, had a baby. I decided not to go back. Fast forward the story. My husband was a personal trainer. He's been in the health and fitness category his whole career. He had already gotten a coaching certification. He was like, Megan, I really think you should go get this coaching certification. I think you'd be great at it. I think you're bored, just like go do it for yourself. And I did. And in my mind, I was like, wow, what I'm learning as a coach is so similar to the way that I taught my kids in my classroom. I could go do this. Like I could see myself doing this with adults. And that's how I started a business as a coach. And that was back in 2011. So there's the backstory, Clifton.
No, I love that backstory, which kind of is a great segue into the next question that I was going to ask you. Do you feel like that classroom management skills that you gained teaching and dealing with high school students allowed you to translate that, as you alluded to, into the coaching business, into the consulting world, and being able to just grow your own entrepreneurship journey and your own business in that way? Do you feel like you give credit to that, and you feel like that's what sparked you into the current journey that you're on at the moment, Megan?
100%, because I work with coaches. So my ideal client is a coach or a consultant. Okay. And a lot of my clients, not all of them, but a lot of my clients are working with a lot of students or clients at one time. So they're running masterminds or group coaching programs or courses. And so that's like one degree of leadership in a business. It's leading your clients and it's facilitating when you're working with a group of clients. Or if you're hosting retreats, in-person events, anything like that, like there still has to be a leader, right? Even though these are all adults still need a leader. And it's also why they're hiring us. It's because they're looking for a leader. They're looking to be led. Yep. And then there's the other group of people you have to lead when you're a business owner. When you get to this level, you have to lead your team. And I'll share very, very honestly, I have been behind the scenes of a lot of coaching businesses and online education businesses, from people just getting started to people making like 8 figures. And typically the messiest part of running a business that I have seen, it's the business owner's ability to build the skill of leading people. Because if you don't, and leadership is a skill. We're not born great leaders. You may be born with certain personality traits and characteristics that lend itself to being a good leader, but leadership is a skill. Yes. And I'd say from the classroom perspective, where I feel like I learned, because so much of leadership is communication. Leadership is communication. And I learned how to become a communicator in a classroom with high school kids because I had all age ranges. I had all grades, all in a class at the same time. I might have the smartest kid in the class and the least smart kid, or the smartest kid in the school and the least smartest kid in the school in the same class. And then when you're in the public school system, you're also dealing with, I mean, obviously with anybody, you're dealing with different personalities. You're dealing with a lot of different emotional states in people. You're also dealing with, like, I had kids who like never got fed a meal at home. So they're coming to school hungry, or they're coming to school tired, or they're coming to school. Some kids are homeless, like they don't even actually have a home, or someone other than the parent is raising them, or they witnessed domestic violence the night before between their parents, or their parents are going through a messy divorce. Like you get it all in the public school system. But as a teacher, if you want every single one of those kids to be as successful as they can be, then your job as a teacher is to be able to read them very, very quickly, pick up on how you've got to best communicate with each student. So if you've got 25 kids in a class, you can't communicate with every single one of those kids the same way, because they're not clones of And I think that's where I really developed that skill of communicating with people to figure them out and figure out like what makes them mad, what causes them to come in my classroom and want to sleep, what causes them to like throw paper at their neighbor, what causes them to be rambunctious, or what causes them to feel like a leader in my classroom. And so I just had to figure that out really fast. And I think I've been able to translate that into coaching and leading my own clients, but then also teaching people how to do that with their teams and with their clients.
No, and it kind of just summarizes everything that you're already doing, kind of not basically just doing, you're being your own strategic advisor in that aspect and just helping provide that objective insight, I guess you can call it, as far as like fresh perspective from all your coaches and all your clients that you have underneath your belt, helping them identify opportunities and pitfalls that they may miss. And at the same time, Megan, based on everything that you're telling me, you're basically like your own compass. You know, you're helping point them in the right direction and midst and sea of all these business challenges and opportunities. And again, helping them get the most out of their resources, their time, their money, their personnel. And that's the one thing to me that sticks out, at least to me, as far as everything that you do, Megan, based off of everything I've seen on your website, listening to your podcasts and stuff. You stress on that more so than anything. And speaking of all of your clients in particular, is there a particular one that comes to mind that kind of like solidified you in a way, being your own strategic advisor and helping all these coaches in the coaching business to where it's like, okay, I think I'm onto something and I'm definitely going to take this as far as I can take within my own business and within my own entrepreneurship journey? Is there a couple of clients that come to mind that you could think of off the top of your head?
That's an amazing question. I love this. And there's another interesting part of my journey as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And that is, I said I started my business in 2011.
Uh-huh.
So in 2013, it was the beginning of 2013. It was in February of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I stumbled upon a video on Facebook that popped up, and I wasn't even following the woman who was in the video. I was following somebody else who posted about the video. And I watched it, and it was this coach who had a 7-figure or multiple 7-figure business. And she was extending this invitation for people to apply to become what she called an apprentice with her, where she was going to basically like take them under her wing and essentially not train or coach them, but you were essentially going to get to work with her and work with her company, no financial exchange, to help her build the next thing she was building in her company. And kind of the byproduct of that is you were going to learn about what it really meant to build a multiple 7-figure business and get mentorship from her. I didn't know who the woman was. I applied for the mentorship and I got it.
Okay.
So I got the apprenticeship. Fast forward through 2013. At the end of 2013, she offered me a job. And I took a part-time job with her. So I still was running my coaching business, but I took a part-time job with her because she had like a $2.5 million launch. 200 new people joined her program. And it was basically just her and her husband. And so she knew she needed help to run that. And she asked me to run that. And so I started doing it part-time. Fast forward to May of 2014. And I worked for her full-time as her director of client experience. So I let go of my own business in 2014. And then I was with her till the end of 2016. And I rebooted my own business again in 2017 of January 2017. So to answer your question, it was when I worked at that company, and that's the company you mentioned in your introduction, where we went from probably 1.5 to 2 million up to right under 10 million in about a 3-year period of time.
Okay.
And I was the person running the programs. I was creating the programs. I was her right hand in terms of operating the program and then working with all the clients. So in any given year across our programs, we were working with 500, 600 people every year.
Mm-hmm.
So during those years, I worked with thousands of other business owners. They were all women, and the majority of them were building coaching businesses.
Okay.
So I was getting to work with the clients and coach the clients. And you're basically, I mean, it's like being in a research lab. You're getting to study behavior and you're studying psychology of the clients, but then you're also getting to run the ship behind the scenes of a multi-seven-figure business. And that's really where, to answer your question, that is where I figured it out. That is where I figured out truly where I fit best, where my skill set was, how I could transfer a lot of my skills into growing a business. And, you know, one of the reasons transparently why I left in 2016, there was no, it was, you know, it was fine. It wasn't like something bad or wrong had happened. But when I was working for someone else in the coaching space, I was like, you know, if I'm working here, and granted, I wasn't just behind the scenes, I was very front facing in that company. But when you're working for somebody else's brand, you almost have to shapeshift into becoming their brand. So you're like eating, sleeping, drinking, becoming their brand. So your voice, it's still what they want you to say. Like the brand and the business owner are still dictating everything you are, right? And the way that you are seen from the outside world and the clients. And I thought, gosh, you know, I could stay here and it's awesome and it's amazing. But if I don't leave, then I'm never really going to get to fully explore my own voice and my own message and the way I really want to impact people, because there was a part of me that started to feel very squelched because I was just having to do it their way and I was good at it. But then it's like, but what about the way Megan's being called to serve? And when you work with thousands of people and you're teaching them how to grow a business and you see that, look, running a business, I'm never going to say it's easy because it is hard, because it comes with a lot of adversity, but it's also very simple. It's also very simple. And if you have passion and some talent and drive and you're surrounded by the right people, like what you're able to create in your life, it's really limitless. You know, I mean, we're really the only ones who are putting the limits on ourselves. And I felt like if I stay here, I needed to open the lid up because it was like shutting a lid that I wasn't allowing to open. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. It really does, because it's like it kind of describes like overall what you're trying to do. I feel like what you got from that apprentice is kind of like it kind of helped you in a way establish like your own marketing method as far as helping like other coaches and other clients grow like their coaching business and online education business, you know, and helping them scale like that, leveraging all those happy clients one day at a time, if anything. Would you feel like, Megan, that was kind of like your ideal approach on what you wanted to accomplish with the invisible marketing method, and kind of describe a little bit of what that means to the HFWB podcast series? Because I think that's pretty interesting within itself. And I feel like that will help create more magic in marketing as far as just from a brand awareness, customer engagement, and a competitive edge standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a good question. So what the invisible marketing machine really means is that we kind of have, like, if you look at it, we all have two different communities as business owners.
Yep.
So you have your free community. So these are your, we'll just use business language. They're leads and prospects. Okay. They are people who are interested in what you are sharing in terms of value.
Yep.
They are interested in you. Your content that you're putting out into the world, it is speaking to their problems and their pain points. It is speaking to their dreams, hopes, and aspirations. So they are coming then, they're either going to join your email list or they're going to listen to your podcast. In my case, my central hub is my Facebook group. Always has been. I built my whole business inside my Facebook group, largely. So they're going to come in there, right? So that's your free community. They're not paying to listen to your podcast, be in your Facebook group. You're not giving them a program or a course. So that's your free community. Then you have your paid community. These are people who are buying services from you. They're in your programs, they're in your courses, they're in your paid community. And you're teaching them, you're, revealing your whole entire methodology to them, you're helping them get results, all the things. So there's two separate communities here. I want to be really clear about that. The free and the paid. The free one is like fueling your business. Okay.
Yep.
So where the invisible marketing machine comes in is you mentioned this, happy clients, happy customers. So when your clients are happy and satisfied with the experience that you're providing them and they are getting results, that's really what creates a happy client. And when we have happy clients and we're leading them through this journey, there comes a time where, you know, some people you do have to ask to bring in referrals or invite new people in, but oftentimes you don't even have to do that. And you've got your clients that are out just sharing, like it could be simple. It could be like they're out sharing your podcast. They're out sharing you on Instagram stories.
Right.
They're telling their friends or their colleagues or their clients about you. And so they're out speaking about you and singing your praises out here to other strangers who never would have met you had one of your clients or one of your free community members not talked about you in public in a good way and brought people in. Because look, like all of us as business owners, our job every single day, whether anybody likes it or not, because a lot of business owners resist this, business is a sales game, right? Like 90% of business is selling.
Yes.
And so our job every day is
you're basically selling yourself and selling basically your business and your overall mission and the values behind that business. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our job is to market and sell every day. If we're not marketing and selling, you don't have clients. If you don't have paying clients, you really don't have a business. And look, as coaches and service providers, we in our hearts, it's not about the money. In our hearts, it's about the impact. And sometimes that's really tough for us because it's like, well, we would all do this for free, you know, but you know, we all have to pay the bills, right?
Exactly.
So, and look, I bring that up because marketing and sales, like that's going to be never ending. You're never going to get to stop doing that. And it can also be very overwhelming. You know, we're actually spending, and a business owner should, the majority of your time every day should be spent in marketing and selling. So we also want to be thinking leverage. How can I leverage other people in my network? How can I leverage the people who are already paying me, already listening to me, already trust me, because they're connected to a lot of people. So always be thinking leverage. And that's where the invisible marketing machine really comes in. It's leveraging your clients, leveraging the people in your free community, and provide them such a phenomenal service and experience and help them get results like your life depends on it, such that they are going out and bringing more people in.
I love that. And to kind of simplify it for everybody listening to the HFWB podcast series, basically, you know, the invisible marketing method is how you can help get clients consistently, and monetize your overall community. I love that approach. And you're absolutely right, Megan. Most people don't realize this as far as like an entrepreneur and a business owner. You're constantly selling yourself and you're constantly having to push your own products and services on social media, kind of like a job. Like you got to do it in the morning, you got to do it in the afternoon, you got to do it in the evening, just so you can get your business out there to where you can bring in some clients slowly but surely, one day at a time. It's not easy, that's for sure. And it's like you got to be committed to the process and you got to be consistent with the process. And that's the only way you're going to get the results that you're looking for those listening to the HFWB podcast series. That's great insight without a doubt, Megan, which kind of leads me to my next question I wanted to ask you. For that aspiring business owner, entrepreneur, that leader who's trying to like find their way in the world of entrepreneurship, business ownership, leadership, all of those things, and who are having a hard time getting over that hump, what would you tell that person right now listening to the HFWB podcast series, Megan?
Oh, I would say you already have enough experience. You already have enough knowledge. You already have everything that you need to go solve somebody's problem today. You already do. There are so many people. I mean, me and Clifton included. We all have things we're trying to solve.
Oh,
We
yeah.
all have results we're trying to achieve, all of us, in a lot of different categories. So don't sell yourself short that you think you need to go become something different today in this moment. Like, look, we're always growing. We're always becoming the best version of ourselves. We're always iterating and tweaking. Like if you think of apps, like, right, if we look at our, I heard my husband telling one of his clients this the other day, and he's like, open up your phone and go to your app store. How many apps do you need to update? And literally there's like, you could update your apps probably like some kind of app every single day. How often do all of us get a new iPhone? They come out with a new iPhone every 2 years. We're up to like iPhone 15 or 16 or 17 at this point.
Yep.
Why? Because they keep making it better. They keep improving because they're listening to their client. They're listening to the marketplace. And the marketplace is dictating, what do I provide?
That's a great point.
You already have everything you need. Go make an offer today. Go talk to people today. Go ask questions. Be interested in others and listen for what they're telling you, because people are very quick. We love to talk about ourselves. So all you have to do is give people an opportunity to talk about themselves. And naturally what will come out of their mouth is stuff that's going wrong, things that they need help with. And just ask some clarifying questions and then connect with it and be genuine. I'm not saying like go help somebody you can't help. But if you can genuinely help somebody, you don't need to have a course created. You don't need to have a sales page. You don't need a website. You need nothing. Like, lowest barrier to entry. You don't even need a budget to do this. And if you just go talk to people, and ask questions and look for ways you can help them, make them an offer and make some money. That's how you get started. Messy, imperfect, massive action consistently, using your 2 words consistently, and be committed to it. The people you work with, they will create your offers for you, because through working with them, you're going to see what they want and what they need and what really serves them.
Right. No, that's great. And to kind of add to everything that you said, Megan, because I agree with you 100%. Sometimes you have to seek to understand, then be understood. That's one way you could be effective. And I can't stress that enough. I tell people that all the time, because I also encourage people to read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, because that's where that actually comes from, because that's how you're going to remain effective within your skills, gift, and talent to build something out of nothing. You just have to get started. I mean, you may trip and stumble and fall a couple of times, but just get up, roll up your sleeves, wipe the dust off of you, and just keep on digging until you touch some gold more than anything. And I feel like that's something that the listeners with this particular episode can benefit off of, based off of everything you said, Megan, and basically everything I just added on to that.
Yeah.
Great insight, without a doubt. Now, Megan, we're basically at the point of my podcast where I'm going to ask you a list of questions that I usually ask everybody who comes onto the podcast, just so we can pick your brain a little bit. First question is this: what is the first thing you do or think of every single day that you wake up?
Oh, I lay in bed. Okay, so I wake up and I lay in bed for another 30 to 45 minutes before I actually wake up, and I pray for 30 to 45 minutes.
Nothing wrong with starting off your day, with a nice morning prayer, practicing gratitude, just being grateful for the big things, small things, everything in between, before mainly just getting peace within yourself. That way you can go out to conquer the world, as I like to say, more so than anything, which allows me to segue into the next question. Here at Health, Fitness, Wealth Business, I'm a firm believer of health is wealth. You can't have one without the other. They're 2 sides of the coin in a way. What is your personal definition of health and wealth in your eyes, Megan?
Ooh, my goodness. This is really good. Well, I don't think you can have wealth without health.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And look, we're all going to die and not take our money with us. And if we're going to have wealth, if we're going to have financial wealth, because there's different kinds of wealth, right? So if we're going to have financial wealth, the only way you're going to be able to enjoy it is if you are healthy. And part of, oftentimes when we hear the word health, I think we go straight to physical health. But as you are working on your physical health, it's also impacting your spiritual health, your mental health, and your emotional health. So it's kind of like a package deal.
Yep.
That is going to open you up to be more creative, more imaginative. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel better about yourself. And it just, I mean, it really does set you up for success that is sustainable. So I think health comes before wealth, and wealth is useless if you are not practicing really great health habits so you can actually enjoy that.
And that is exactly what I've been trying to tell people all the time, and everyone who listens to the HFWB podcast series. It's a constant evolution from the not only just the physical, but the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, as you touched on, Megan. I like to call it the four corner effects, to where right there in the center is that financial wealth and that abundance and that prosperity within that. Once you attack all four corners, you can go to the center, and then that everything will just come naturally, because your physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being is all in alignment, to where everything else will just come in abundance, whether it's not only just the money, but of course, time, information, resources, all of those things. All the answers to your questions will be answered within itself, I feel like. My next question for you, Megan, is when you think of the word community, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The first word that comes to mind?
The first thing that comes to your mind off to the top of the head when you think of the word community?
Connection and belonging.
Simple, straightforward, and right to the point. And that's pretty much what helps unite people together, to where we could stand strong together more so than ever. I'm going to make a little transition, Megan. I'm going to offer you two choices, right? And I'm going to see which one you would pick out of them, kind of like an either or fashion. The first one being loyalty or respect.
Oh, respect has to come first.
Respect always has to come first. That's one of my favorite philosophies, without a doubt. Would you rather live in space or live in the ocean?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. Live in the ocean. I thought I was going to be a marine biologist in middle school.
Would you rather be famous and poor or anonymous and rich?
Anonymous and rich.
Would you rather have unlimited free meals at your favorite restaurant, or unlimited first class tickets to where you can travel?
Oh, unlimited first class tickets.
Would you rather sing to every song or dance to every song?
Sing to every song.
I'm going to throw this hypothetical situation at you, Megan. Picture yourself trapped on an island, nowhere to go, stranded, but you have the option to listen to 5 of your favorite music artists of all time. Doesn't matter the genre, whole catalog included. Who would those 5 music artists be?
Okay, I don't think I can think of 5. I would choose, so I listen to worship music. So I've got a big kick right now on Rita Springer. I love her music. Meredith Andrews. I like Brandon Lake. I like Rachel Morley. And let's go with Taya. I came up with 5. There's 5.
There's nothing wrong with, of course, praising the gospel. That's for sure. What is your favorite go-to meal, Megan?
My favorite meal is a Caesar salad with a lot of Parmesan, pepper, and croutons, with a very medium rare steak and a sweet potato with butter.
It's funny how you say that, Megan, because that's literally been like my go-to meal, especially considering the fact of how active I am, working out, being a holistic fitness trainer, all those things. That I literally eat that meal you just described like every other week. That's crazy. Where's the favorite place that you have traveled to thus far, and where's a place you would like to travel to that you've never been before?
I could do this with you all day, Clifton. My favorite trip has probably been Peru. I went when I was 24 years old with a group of high school kids, and we went to Machu Picchu. We went to a lot of places, but Machu Picchu. To get to Machu Picchu, you have to go through this like mountain town on the side of a mountain called Aguas Calientes, and you take a train there. So that part of Peru was probably, that was my most favorite trip. Where would I like to go? Oh, where do I want to go? I want to do an African safari with my daughter.
That's the dream vacation that will eventually get crossed off of the bucket list. That's for sure. Now, Megan, what are some of your favorite hobbies that you like to do that many people may not know you like to do?
Oh, I play tennis. That's my hobby. I play tennis every week.
Can't go wrong with that. Who is your favorite male, female tennis player?
It was Serena Williams until she retired, obviously. And on the male side, it's Novak Djokovic. For sure, my number one. Female side, I don't really have a favorite female right now. When she left, I just kind of I was like, so. But he's my all-time favorite is Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, they're definitely, there's a reason why Novak Djokovic is always in the top 5 world rankings, and there's a reason why Serena Williams is quote unquote not just the greatest women's tennis player of all time, but just the overall greatest athlete of all time. There's a reason behind everything, that's for sure. Yeah. Which leads me to my last question, Megan, as we wrap everything up. Picture yourself having the opportunity, right, to go back in time and talk to yourself 10 years ago. What would you tell yourself in that exact moment? And based on the current journey that you're on, with everything that you have going on, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Okay, 10 years ago, I was working as director of client experience for what we already talked about that. And I would have told myself, you're exactly where you're meant to be, because this is going to be the thing that catapults the rest of your career. And then where did you ask me, where do I see myself in 10 years?
Correct. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Well, geographically, I live in Florida and we are moving to Tennessee. We're moving to the Nashville area because my brother lives there with his family.
Okay.
So I see ourselves in Nashville with land, growing our own food, and having spaces where people who we work with from like a live event and retreat perspective, because both my husband and we're both coaches. More people will be coming to us. So we will have not like a ranch, but we could just call it that, like a ranch with facilities so that we can do like really amazing transformational work with people.
No, and I think you and your husband are onto something, Megan, because with the times that we're in, I feel like that's what a lot of people are going to be transitioning towards, is going back out to the country, getting like their own land to where they can basically be able to live in peace, grow their own food, and at the same time operate their businesses in an according fashion. That's for sure. So best wishes in regards to that when that transition does come, for sure, Megan. Where can people, of course, get in contact with you as far as like your website, your podcast, your overall coaching and services and consultation, all of those things? Where can people get in contact with you, Megan?
So the best 2 places would be, and you mentioned it, my podcast, which is called Built to Last with Megan Huber. The other place is my Facebook group. So like I said, I've built my whole business predominantly inside of my Facebook group. So if you want to find me on Facebook, my handle is Megan J. Huber. And my Facebook group is called Structured Freedom, Inc., Client Acquisition for High Ticket Coaches. And that's where a lot of magic happens in that Facebook group.
I love that. Megan, thank you so much for just making time out of your productive schedule to simply bless us with an appearance on the HFWB podcast series, providing the information, knowledge, and resources from your overall experience to overall benefit everyone who is listening to the HFWB podcast series, wherever they may be, however they may be listening. Megan, thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it. And I definitely learned a lot too myself, and I'm sure all the listeners will definitely do the same.
Amazing. Thanks for having me, Clifton.
No, of course, without a doubt, Megan. And for those listening to the HFWB podcast series, once again, this is your host, Clifton Pope, and I encourage everyone to stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed. And until next time, peace, love, and positive vibrations.